Having me today. My name is Tony Ballard. I am the director of the prison outreach portion of the Gifted Chess. I want to thank Dana Rezniso-Zola. I want to thank FIDE. I want to thank Mikhail Corman. I want to thank my colleagues that are out there in support. I just want to thank everyone that has come to the conference today to participate, because I believe that we are embarking upon a journey that will change the course of prisons in the United States of America and nationally. So I just like to start by speaking about my experience, my testimony. I found chess as a cognitive rehabilitation tool when I was sitting in segregation. I was in segregation as a result of a lot of unruly, bad behavior, trafficking, contraband, gang activity, things of that sort. And so I was in segregation for 23 hours and 1 hour outside of my cell. In order for me to pass my time by, I found chess. And initially I was getting my hat handed to me quite a bit playing chess. And so, being that I had a competitive nature, I began to check chess books out at the library. And the more chess books I checked out, the more I applied the strategies that I was learning within them. And I started playing those same strategies against my opponents right there in segregation. And it was a unique way that we played the game. We would basically yell out numbers rather than the traditional algebraic notation, chess notation that we have today. It would be more like pawn 29, knight 22. Well, to make a long story short, I gained a lot of success as I learned from those books. I became the best chess player, not only in segregation, but eventually throughout the Kansas Department of Corrections. As a result, it helped me to increase my self-esteem, my confidence level. And I thought that if I would apply the same skills that I was using on the chessboard to my own life, how much more success could I have? And so I became a guinea pig in my own experiment. I began to use the problem solving skills, the critical thinking skills, the abstract thinking skills, the pattern recognition skills, the time management skills that I was learning over the chessboard as I opened up, got into the middle game, got into the end game in my own personal life. And as a result of that, here I am today. I have created chess clubs within the prison system right here in Kansas Department of Corrections. We have been able to tour all 9 facilities here in Kansas, promoting the gift of chess as a cognitive rehabilitation tool. And not only that, I've maintained a 4.0 GPA at going to online college right here at Wichita Work Release Facility. I've also been active in organizing other events in other states such as Nebraska, South Carolina, and Oklahoma, right here from the Wichita Work Release Facility with the blessings of the administration, Secretary of Corrections Jeff Zamuda, statewide chess coordinator Captain Oneth. So I've had a lot of success as a result of the game of chess. One thing I can realize that chess does for KDOC in all prisons worldwide is right here in Kansas, we're dealing with a lot of staff shortages. There's 3 main problems. We have staff shortages. We have inmate on staff violence. We have inmate on inmate violence, and we have substance abuse issues. And all of those 3 problems can be cured by implementing positive programs, such as the gift of chess, such as chess programming that can permeate the environment and create an academic atmosphere where men and women incarcerated are no longer being impulsive, but they're beginning to think. Constructive rehabilitation programming can help inmate on inmate violence, staff on inmate violence within the prison system, because most of the time those actions occur as a result of impulsive thinking. Those that are incarcerated, such as myself at one point, was very irrational in our thinking, very impulsive in our decision making, and we made a lot of choices that cost us 20 plus years of our lives. I've been incarcerated 20 plus years, going on 25. And so what I know is that chess, when you play the game of chess, you move away from being impulsive to more of a decision maker. You become more responsive rather than reactive. And that's the habit that we would like to instill in chess players within the prison institutions. When you instill a habit of thinking, you create a buffer, and that buffer will create time in between a decision that can have some serious consequences behind it. And when you have that buffer, it will more likely lead you to a more rational, thought out decision rather than something that's impulsive, that's reactionary, and that's going to cost you more time in prison or going to hurt a staff member or a fellow inmate. So another problem that I believe chess can solve is the substance abuse issues. We know that substance abuse issues is brought on about several different factors. Three of those factors is peer pressure, emotional distress, and anxiety. So when you have a chess academic atmosphere in prison settings, what you're doing is you're creating a thinking atmosphere where you have a nucleus of people who are all positive. They have something that they enjoy. They have something that gives them purpose, gives them meaning, adds value to their life, and thus it becomes a positive peer pressure motive for them to do the right thing. Emotional distress. We deal with that by immersing ourselves in the game of chess. I immerse myself in the game of chess to basically escape all of the negativity, all of the violence, all of the things that was going on around me within prison. As I focused on the chessboard, pondering my moves, 3 or 4 moves ahead, I was completely oblivious to what was going on around me. Nothing else concerned me other than my thoughts as I put them together in an organized way to check my opponent on the other side of that board. Chess also helps with anxiety. A lot of people in prison deal with anxiety. And one of the things that they do to deal with their anxiety is they self-medicate through drug use. Well, if you have the game of chess there, I can attest to the fact that it helped me to overcome anxiety issues just by meditating on my moves, meditating on the strategy that I was going to employ, helped me to overcome anxiety. What a lot of people in society do not realize is that 90% of those incarcerated will be released. They will become your neighbors. They will become the people that you see at the grocery store. They will become the people that you see in traffic. And so as a result, we need to understand what we can do as a commission, what we can do as a collective of people to provide programming that's going to prepare them for the outside world. A lot of those that are getting out of prison are dealing with PTSD, post-incarceration syndrome, and post-incarceration syndrome deals with a couple of factors, but I just want to name 2, and that's the difficulty to adjust to life outside of prison. And the second one is the difficulty of forming and maintaining relationships. What chess does, it creates such a configuration, numerous configurations of problem solving that when difficulty arises, you're not alarmed. You've been prepared mentally. In prison, I've noticed that there are not a lot of decisions to be made. You can make probably 100 to 200 decisions a day in prison. But when you are given the game of chess and you play the game of chess, no 2 chess games are alike. And so the decisions that you must make on that board can vary from time to time. There's different variations. There's thousands of different decisions and choices that you must make on the chessboard, and you must put these choices in order. And essentially what you're doing when you do that is you're creating a habit of thinking. You're creating a habit of right decision making. And so when those that are incarcerated, such as myself, are released in society, and we're bombarded with a myriad of decisions that we must make, a myriad of choices that we must make, we're already prepared to make those decisions. It has been put to us in the form of a chess game, although while we're out there, it can be put to us in the form of, do I take the kids to school or do I stay home? Do I pay this bill over or should I pay that bill? Should I wait on this employer to call me or should I go ahead and find an alternative way to make money? And so we weigh our options and we weigh the consequences behind those decisions that we choose to make. Maintaining relationships. So post-incarceration syndrome deals with maintaining a difficulty of maintaining relationships. Chess helps you build relationships. We've toured over 9 facilities here in the state, and many of those chess players that we've met have said that the people that they played that day were some new people that they've always spent time with in the prison, but have never spoken to. But when you put the chessboard in front of them and they play a few games, before too long, they're shaking each other's hand, they're asking them questions about themselves, they're trying to get to know one another, and thus they're building a relationship. That's how important chess is. Chess is the #1 best-selling game in America. But I would like to have a thought of a paradigm shift. Let's rethink how we look at this simple game called chess more as a tool. That paradigm shift calls us to look at how we've been looking at this game of chess as just a simple, fun game, more now so as a tool, a cognitive rehabilitation tool towards change. We believe at the Gifted Chess that chess is a gateway. Chess is a gateway tool to open up the door for other programs to enter into prisons. A lot of people do not understand that when we put chess on the table and we implement chess programs in prison systems throughout the United States, and we have chess clubs, chess tournaments, and we create a competitive atmosphere where it is celebrated how well you think, how academically sounded you are, versus being brute and brawn and tough and strong. What we're essentially doing is we create an academic environment of thinkers that are less likely to be impulsive, that are strong at building relationships. And what that does is it allows for opportunities for jobs to come into the prison systems. It allows for the staff members whose task is to manage the inmate population to take a load off and allowing the leaders to rise up within that population. Those leaders are people such as myself. I'm not a staff member. I'm not an official. I don't carry keys. I can't lock someone in their cell or even get someone out of the cell. But what I can do, as I have developed my leadership skills, I can influence others that are doing time with me how to think right, how to make good choices, what to do, what not to do, and to encourage them to do the best thing, to do the right choice. And when you got leaders like myself in these environments, that takes that stressor, that takes that pressure off the staff members who are just there for 8 hours a day. They come, they're looking to do their work, keep everyone safe, and then they want to return home to their families. That's an aspect that we're not thinking about. And I don't mean us at this commission, this conference here. I'm talking about those outside of prison. They are more on the punitive measures of incarceration rather than on the rehabilitation method. And so with that being said, I believe that chess will ultimately help reduce recidivism. Here in my state of Kansas, the recidivism rate is at 34.7%. That's 1 out of every 3 inmates that are released are returning back to prison. And that is because of those post-incarceration syndrome I spoke about, the PTSD they suffer from, the impulsive thinking the impulsiveness that they've perpetuate once they get out. That is a result of that. And I'm convinced that chess has the ability to curb that recidivism rate. In the US alone, is 44% of those that get out and return to prison. And 70% return within 5 years. That's very alarming for those that do the work. They come in every day, putting in the hours, and they pour into the residents, the inmates, and only to see them come back within 75 years of their release. So I hope with everything that I have is that this commission will get the word out that chess, yes, while it is a fun game, let's change the paradigm. Let's change the thinking of how this game can be used, more so as a tool rather than just a game. And I just want to thank everyone for allowing me this platform, allowing me this opportunity to speak. Thank you, Dana Rice. Well, thank you, Arkady Dvorkovich. Thank you, Dana, and everyone. And hopefully we can get Dana Reznick Azola to come out to it.
I think I didn't tell you the story of Tony. Tony